Good evening. Good evening. We're here at World's Gym, Beaumont, Texas again. Um, Today, my single leg work is going to be the single leg Bosus ball squat, like um, I usually do. And I showed a few people here the other day how to do that, and they had their own Bosu ball, and it was flat because nobody used it, and I pumped it up, so now it's being used a bunch because I showed some people some stuff on it, and everybody was amazed that it actually was that effective. And instead of just collecting dust, now it's getting used. But um, I went back there, and there was a guy using it, so I'm going to do my double-legged work, and then go back and do my single leg press. But with variable resistance guys, it's always the way to go. But the leg press, there's a couple different ways of doing it. This is for the guys that go to the gym and have the X3. Um, I like to combine X3 and Delsig training principles together, but just do like a simple couple movements and call it a day because you don't need to do a lot when you're going to complete exhaustion like this. The way I have it set up here, I had a curl bar set up behind the seat in this style bench or this style sled. Now, this sled's got a pretty good throw on it here and a wide seat, so you can do that on this one. Some of them you can't, so you have to put the band up here, and it actually will release tension as the band stretches and goes down. This way, the band releases as it comes down and it grows as you come up. I have the combination here is about 200 pounds, but at a 45-degree angle, you actually feel 70% of the load. So 200 pounds, 70% of the load, it's like I have 140 pounds on there. Yeah, 70% of 200 is 140. So imagine this is 140 pounds. Both of these bands go up to 120 a piece, right? So when I come down into my weak spot, these bands release a bit and give where I'm in my weakest position so I don't damage anything. But as I push, the load goes up at the end, and the band doesn't matter with gravity. There's no gravity involved. It's the actual tension. So let's say it's actually over 100 pounds. So you're at now 350 pounds or something like that. And it grows steadily as you go. So down at the bottom, let's say you're at 200 to 220, somewhere in there. And at the top, you're around 350, something like that. And with the leg press, I'm focusing on my quads. Normally I do this single-legged, but like I said, I'm going to do the single leg squat today on the Bosu ball. And you want to bring the femur out a bit so you can get proper depth. Now the thing with using the bands too, you can get better depth and full range of motion and never take the tension off the muscle, but not strain or pull something out of the hole. And you want to control it the whole time. Controlling the concentric phases of this is really hard because it keeps growing as you're pushing it out. And then on the way back, so you want to push it out, pause, come back as deep as possible, pause, go out, okay? So I'll just do a demonstration set here. I have my heels all the way to the bottom. The reason for that is it's going to put more emphasis on the quads because I'm going to get better knee flexion over the toe. If I was to come up like this, I would start using my hamstrings and glutes more. And it can be that, though, can be really hard on the lower back because of the position you're in. I'm not a big fan of that, but right here, I'm at shoulder width, right? Okay. I come down slow. I'm still moving. I never stop moving, even if it's real slow. And that there, that weight and band combo is an amazing variable resistance. You don't have as rapid of a drop in the eccentric part because of the weights. So you have the weights plus the band, so the drop's not as rapid. But in the concentric phase, where it normally gets really easy, that band starts getting so tight that it actually maxes out to the point where you can barely move it. If I was to take these bands off of here and just use this, I'd be in the 50s for reps, something like that. Go ahead and pause it. So, demonstration-wise, if your seat setup isn't like this one and the bar isn't as far away, where the bands, it'd be fine if you had like 34-inch bands or something, but a lot of times you'll even have a skinnier seat with just a little spot on the back to put the bar on, and it doesn't work well. And some of the machines have a lever, but another way to do it, I like it right here. You can grab hold of anything. You can grab a hold of this. You can grab a hold of this down here. This one's got a bar that comes across the middle. And I actually enjoy, right, even that out. Pull. Right there. So now when the weight comes down, that'll stretch and get easier. And then as I push it up, as that shortens, the weight will get heavier, right? One of the very best ways to do this, I don't have anybody here to help me, but normally I would have somebody add a weight on either side of that on the eccentric portion and then pull them away when I push. So I could add 100 pounds to the negative, then pull it away, and then I push and I recruit enough fibers, my body thinks it's going to push that much weight, and it feels almost like nothing for the first half of the rep. And then at the end, you get the load, and then they top load it with another 100 pounds, and you do the negative. That way, you'll actually get just as many reps, but you'll use like another 90 to 100 pounds per rep. This is where variable resistance is superior to just straight weightlifting, period. I'll show you this way. Now, you can see how much easier that is. And that's where I would normally, like, let's say, be doing single leg press. Like that. Because the band shortens so much, by the time it comes down, it's maxed out, and it almost takes the majority of the load off by the bottom. So I'd throw more weight on. They decide to turn the music up louder when there's a really shitty song that comes on. Couldn't have picked a better time to crank her up. So this one looks like I'm going to try to do a good 50 rep set. I normally don't like to go down and wait. I did 20 reps the first time. I didn't reach full hypoxia though. And this is a demonstration. I'm gonna reach full hypoxia. I'm gonna go till I can't move it. And then I'm gonna rest a few minutes and do a set of the single leg Bosu ball squats, and then some RDLs and banded leg curls. But the old 50 rep set will wake some stuff up. Halfway. I think it was 40. I physically can't push it any further than that, so I'll keep going. This is where variable resistance exceeds too, because normally with weight, when you start to fail, you can't get another one. With variable resistance, with the band, your reps just start getting shorter, and you reach a deeper point of hypoxia, which lowers myostatin. And myostatin is what puts the ceiling on muscle growth. So, holy shit, I'm lightheaded. A way to make this better, though, is say I had a training partner and have somebody on each one, at least one person. On the negative, I'd add weight to it because we can carry twice as much in a negative as we can push. For safety reasons, we burn two different types of fuel. When we switch into a negative, we start burning two fuels. And then in the concentric phase, we burn the single. But we have, let's say, 100 pounds to this in the negative. Your body's going to recruit enough fibers because it thinks it's going to push that much weight. Then at the bottom, you'd pull that weight off, and the weight would come up. It would feel easier because the fibers stay recruited for a second or two. And then at the top, you'd feel the max out of the band, but you don't lock out. Then they put the weight back on. And now you carry that down. You'll get the same amount of reps, but you'll get, in the negatives, let's say another 100 pounds. So you'll get 50 more pounds per rep if you divvied it up because you're taking some away in the concentric phase. But if you're doing 20 reps, and you're adding, like, say, essentially 50 more pounds per rep, that's 1,000 more pounds that you're pushing for the same amount of reps. And that is, we reach a deeper point of hypoxia with the diminishing range of motion. We can have heavier negatives, and it matches our strength curve. We don't damage our joints. It outperforms regular weightlifting. I mean, literally, there's some people that are genetically have really short muscle tie-ins that can't even grow from lifting weights because they can't lift enough to grow. This helps those people, but not only that, anybody that's doing it are going to see gains twice as fast when you do it something like this. And then the single leg Bosu ball squat, you're incorporating the stabilization aspect where the muscle's working as hard as it can, not only to lift you up and down, but it has to stabilize, and your whole body's involved. And you'll put out 10 times the growth hormone you would in like a single leg squat on the floor. So, with that said, we'll move on from here.